Jamaican people want better.
Portmore has been good to the People's National Party over the years, and we appreciate the support. As is well known, it was under the People's National Party that the special status of Portmore as our first city municipality was established with a directly elected mayor by the people. Portmore is the only local authority in Jamaica which has that model. It is a unique model where the people of Portmore elect their mayor directly. And you know, in this discussion that has been going on about Portmore becoming a parish, all I would say to you is this: let that be the decision of the people of Portmore. The people of Portmore must make that decision. Not the government of the day, for whatever political reasons they may think make it something in their interest. I'm here to give an overview, and I have prepared an overview which I want to share with you this afternoon. Jamaica has made real macroeconomic progress over the past decade under successive governments. Sound fiscal management, substantial debt reduction, modern monetary policy management by an independent central bank, and we've seen the continued expansion of tourism, global services, which many of us know as BPO, and construction in the form of highways and upscale residential developments in our major cities. But despite all of that, our country is in a state of fear, hopelessness, and frustration. Violent crime has gotten significantly worse under the current government, reversing the positive trend of the 4 years of reducing murders and reducing police fatal shootings under the last PNP administration. The murder rate continues to rise, making Jamaica among the most murderous countries on this earth. Multiple murders are now a regular occurrence. Guns, including high-powered weapons, are causing mayhem across the land, fueled by the proceeds of illegal activities like lottery scamming and other criminal enterprises. Jamaicans are living in fear. It is as if life has no intrinsic value to these criminals. Women and children are regular victims, and the government has failed to manage this situation and has no clear strategy to turn the tide of violent crime around. The education system is also in crisis, worsened by the pandemic and 2 years of learning loss for our children during the period that schools were closed, with no clear program to mitigate that problem and restore those children to the standards that they need to be at to move forward. The early childhood and primary sectors are failing many thousands of Jamaican children who move up to high school without even the basic competencies in reading and writing, arithmetic, and critical thinking, not criminal thinking. And this lack of the basics flows through into the large numbers of school leavers who leave school every year in Jamaica with no subjects, and that feeds the epidemic of violent crime. Tertiary students, university and college students from low-income families struggle to finance their degree courses. Many of them end up being deregistered, having made a valiant start. The system of finance for tertiary education, with requirements for guarantors and no cap on loan payments related to the borrower's actual income, is not designed to empower these students to get through their tertiary studies. The health sector is also in a dire state. Patients admitted to hospitals in Jamaica often have to sleep on benches or chairs for days on end before a bed becomes available to them. And the basic procedures for hygiene are not even being followed, resulting in outbreaks of infection that have recently seen the deaths of many tiny babies at the Victoria Jubilee Hospital. Jamaica is overwhelmed in piles of garbage all across the land, breeding flies, vermin and disease. The scale of nastiness across Jamaica is unprecedented. The Prime Minister publicly admitted that he is embarrassed about this. But what good is that? That is his responsibility and that of his portfolio minister, Mackenzie. But there is no accountability in government in Jamaica nowadays. Minister Chan is still there, despite the daily horrors under his watch of which I spoke. Minister Tufton is still there, despite the litany of woes in the health sector under his watch and the recent lies to Parliament, which I had to call him out for last Tuesday. Even Minister of State J.C. Hutchinson is still there, despite yet another investigated finding that he was involved in nepotism in the spending of public resources in his parish. The people of Jamaica want better. When they see things going wrong and no one in leadership taking responsibility, they get turned off by the system. They want to see accountable government which is guided by principle and integrity. They want a caring government, not a government that demolishes the homes of vulnerable Jamaican citizens on public lands with no arrangements to assist them to find shelter. The people of Jamaica want to see Operation Save Jamaica, to restore hope for a better future for our people. The People's National Party is listening to the people. We were formed in 1938 as a national political movement to achieve universal voting rights, self-government, and economic independence for the people of Jamaica through an inclusive and equitable model of development. At this critical juncture in our history, we, the PNP, must once again take up the mantle of putting right the fundamental weaknesses and challenges facing our country. We did it in 2012 when we inherited a financial mess and a country on the edge of fiscal disaster. And we fixed the public finances and put the country on a long-term path of debt reduction and economic stability. The People's National Party did that. We must do it again. We must do it again. As the people turn to us for hope and turn to us to build a Jamaica that is safe and livable and capable of attracting investment and generating inclusive and sustainable growth. To achieve this, we must build a Jamaica that rests on the full development of the vast talents and capacities of the Jamaican people. It is the people of Jamaica that will carry Jamaica forward. The next PNP government will take on the social transformation that is needed to unleash the greatness of this nation. We will invest. We will invest in early childhood and primary education. We want to create a first-class, world-class system of early childhood development and primary education, raising standards across the board to ensure that all Jamaican children are fully equipped and ready for secondary school education when they reach the required age. We will reform the financing of tertiary education to take the risk of unemployment off the students by eliminating the requirement of guarantors, capping their student loan payments at a manageable fixed percentage of their income, and suspending loan payments during any periods of unemployment so that they don't have to be stressed out by people running them down to collect money from them for their student loans when they're not even working. reverse the spiral of violent crime by a balanced, holistic policy. Firstly, we must tackle the root causes of crime in Jamaica: weak family life, inadequate parenting skills, and a culture that is too quick to anger. We will invest in a second chance for our youth at risk, who are the source of much of the violence plaguing our country, through a well-designed national program to provide them with remedial education, skills training, mentorship, and psychosocial support, and put them on the pathway to gainful employment and productive citizenship. That is how we will move this country forward. We will prioritize broadband internet access, just like we did with rural electrification in the 1970s. Internet access is a critical public good in the 21st century, and every Jamaican family must have affordable access to the internet for education, for commerce, and for general modern well-being. The GDP growth and the tax revenues that will be generated by having our people fully connected will justify the public investment and pay for it. We will develop agriculture by making food security a major strategic pillar of our economy and put an end to arable lands being used for non-agricultural purposes. We will protect our environment and our environmental assets and heritage for future generations by not allowing mining in the cockpit country and any other ecologically sensitive areas, and being firm on industrial waste polluting our rivers, our oceans, and the air that we breathe. We must ensure that our people are no longer denied access to our beautiful beaches for de-stressing and for recreation, by making it a right. In every parish there must be at least one clean and accessible public beach at an affordable cost for the people of Jamaica to enjoy the natural beauty of our country. As I have said, the future of our country depends on achieving the fullest development of the vast talents and capacities of the Jamaican people, as we build a society based on the principles of inclusivity and equity. That cannot be done if we do not embrace who we are and believe in our own capacity for greatness. And that is why further constitutional reform is a must. No self-respecting nation can be content with our remaining in colonial arrangements 60 years after we got self-government. We are committed to completing decolonization and achieving political independence by leaving the Privy Council in London and embracing the Caribbean Court of Justice as our final court of appeal. Along with moving away from the British monarchy and having our own Jamaican head of state. These two things are not only symbolically very important. Every Jamaican child must believe that he or she has the potential to be our head of state. Our self-confidence as a people and our capacity to achieve as a nation is undermined by clinging to these British institutions of executive and judicial power like we are not a real country. Perhaps even more importantly, access to justice is a fundamental right of the Jamaican people, and is being denied ordinary Jamaicans by the visa requirement to visit the United Kingdom and the heavy expenses attendant on taking an appeal there. The CCJ, the Caribbean Court of Justice, uses audio-visual procedures that make it accessible to all, and it will sit here as a court when needed, like it did in the case of Shanique Myrie when she got justice through the CCJ. The CCJ already has earned a well-deserved reputation for independence and jurisprudential excellence, time come for us to embrace the regional court that we have already paid for. So, my fellow Jamaicans, as we move away from the monarchy, let it not be done in a piecemeal fashion. The CCJ and the Jamaican Republic must move forward together. They are the two sides of the same coin of final decolonization and political independence. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for listening to this overview with my current thinking on these important matters. And I look forward to hearing from the other presenters and to engaging in an interactive session with you after that. God bless you.